The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more
All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. Catherine's going to start with our first story this morning.
Good morning. I hope you all are having a good morning and we're ready for the day. So I'm about to read an article from KY3. It is called Springfield Family Seeks Justice After Son's Death Near Missouri State University Campus. The family of a Springfield man killed last month near the Missouri State University campus is speaking out about the legacy he leaves behind. Brandon Watt was shot near the intersection of Kimbrough Avenue and Elm Street and later died at the hospital. His mother, Teresa Cox, described him as a loving son, brother, and father who was the jokester of the family. He lights up the room. Just anything he did, he always smiled, no matter if it was sad or upset or anything. He never showed that, Cox said. Cox said her son's favorite thing in the world was his child. He loved his son very, very much. He just loved him. He took him everywhere he wanted, everywhere he bragged about his son, she said. The family plans to keep Brandon's memory alive by sharing stories and memories with his son. I'm going to tell him every good thing about him, like while he was growing up, about his skateboarding, his games, and how he was so kind-hearted, Cott said. The investigation continues. Cots learned of her son's death through a phone call from detectives. Then a detective called me and told me, "I'm sorry about your loss, but your son Brandon Watt has passed away. He got killed," she said. Detectives brought Dawson Smith in for questioning, but he was released. Smith has not been formally charged, as investigators are still gathering information. "I don't understand that he's walking around and acting like nothing happened," Cott said. The family said, Then a detective called me and told me, "I'm sorry about your loss." "I don't understand that he's walking around and acting like nothing happened," Cott said. The family says that they want the truth about what happened. "I need justice for him. So anybody out there that knows anything about it, or just knows something about my boy, they know about my boy. He's never been a fighter. He's been more of a lover," Cott said. The community shows support. Saturday, Brandon's funeral was standing room only. His family says that this showed him how much he was loved by his family, friends, and his employer, Donko 3 Construction, which paid for his service. Everybody who stood by his side all the years that they've known him. "I thank you from the bottom of my heart. That funeral was loaded with people, and you loved my son, and I appreciate it so much." This now goes over to Pat.
Somewhat of a humorous article this morning. This is February the 2nd, so it's Groundhog Day. This comes from the 417 magazine lifestyle section, just stating out front that groundhogs have too much power. Fun fact, groundhogs are the largest member of the squirrel family, but unlike their smaller squirrel cousins who chitter about in your trees at best, or gnaw through something important in your attic at worst, groundhogs wield enormous power, or so the legend goes anyway. Per groundhog lore, if the supposed king of groundhogs, not his official title, but it should be, Punxsutawney Phil pops out of his Pennsylvania burrow and sees his shadow, he'll scamper back inside and usher forth 6 more weeks of winter for the rest of us. Honestly, who gave him permission to do that? If he doesn't see his shadow, he pops all the way out to go about his life above ground and let springtime take hold. Like the persimmon seed that incorrectly predicted the 2025 into 2026 would be an alarmingly snowy winter, Punxsutawney Phil is woefully unreliable. But just for fun, we'll play along. So here's what you should do in the Ozark, whatever Phil decides. Now, in case you did not catch it this morning on other news like USA Today or all the other news services, Punxsutawney Phil did see his shadow this morning, so we're already aware of what he thinks is going to happen. But in case it was the other way, you are to break out your gardening gloves and prep your pots and plots for spring planting. Refuse to let the actual air temp hold you back and embark on a sunny bike ride. And start spring cleaning and purge your closet of old duds to make room for your new boots. However, if the news report, or if Punxsutawney Phil is wrong, and in spite of a seen shadow, in spite of it, if he's wrong, cocoon yourself in a blanket in your living room, build a fire in the fireplace, and set your phone to silent. I sort of like that one. Dream of a brighter, warmer future and plan a summer vacation, and assume that we may get some snow. Treat yourself to a new pair of boots. You can do that either way. Phil is not the boss of you. Catherine?
And we go to the first alert weather from KY 3. Let's melt some snow. Okay, it states that most places will see high in the 50s, which is today. Good Monday morning. Low pressure Low pressure has developed across western Kansas this morning, with a warm front extending into northern Oklahoma. A weak cold front stretches from Wisconsin into northern Missouri and will drift south, joining the warm front just to the northwest of the Ozarks this afternoon. The air is quite dry, and we'll see lots of sunshine and a big warm up today, with the high temperatures ranging from the middle 40s in central Missouri to lower 50s around Springfield to around 60 degrees in northern central Arkansas. A weak area of low pressure will develop along the front tonight as it slowly moves into our area. For Arkansas and extreme southern Missouri, temperatures will drop this evening and then warm back into the 40s overnight, with morning high temperatures for Tuesday. Plenty of cloud cover will be developing tonight into Tuesday, but moisture is not going to make it this far north before the cold front moves through. Thus, we should be dry. Wednesday will be the coldest day this week, with highs either of 40, but a stretch of 50s should begin Thursday or Friday. The pattern looks mild and storm-free for some time, but there are some indications that February could turn cold and stormy around the middle of the month. I turn you over to Pat.
Well, we're going to keep it a little bit light, just getting started here. There was some devastating news going on since the weekend, but we will hold off and we'll start your morning with an upbeat. Here is Steve Polkin from Daily Citizen. I take that back. That is not a happy one. We're moving. So we're going to go to Brown Derby Deli and Marketplace sets up at Frisco Building during renovation. This has been some time in coming. At least some of us who drive past it daily are beginning to think so. But the Derby Deli will begin service at the Frisco, located at 3253 East Chestnut Expressway, on Friday, January 30th. So that took place this past week. Brown Derby announced on Facebook, Marketplace offerings will start soon after the deli opens. The Derby Deli and Marketplace will be open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Lunch service begins at 11 a.m. Enter through the west entrance and step into our temporary home while Glenstone undergoes renovation, the company said on the January 28th Facebook post. In late December 2025, Brown Derby announced a complete renovation to the Brown Derby Wine and Center Marketplace, located at 2023 South Glenstone Avenue. As part of the expansion, the Springfield-based company will welcome Arkansas-based Nature's Wonders and Natural Grocer as a co-tenant and partner in the updated space. Setting up in the Frisco building will allow Derby Deli fans to get their fix while the flagship Glenstone store is closed. Your same Derby favorites are back, and yes, we've heard you've been having withdrawals, the company said in its post. This article was submitted by Ryan Collins, who is the business and economic development reporter for the Springfield Daily Citizen. Again, it was submitted on January the 30th, this past Friday, and it'll be a welcome addition to South Glenstone. Catherine.
Hello, this is for all those sports fans out there. Former Arkansas State, Auburn head coach, and Arkansas assistant retires from coaching at 60. The 60-year-old Malzahn spent last season with the Seminoles after serving as head coach at UCFS 2021 to 24, Auburn 2013 through 2020, and Arkansas State 2012. He won the 2010 national championship as an offensive coordinator at Auburn. He left Springfield High School in 2006 to become an Arkansas offensive coordinator. After 35 years, it's time for me to step away from coaching, Malzahn said. In a statement, I am excited to spend more time with my family and focus on the next chapter of my life. Coach Mike Norvell promoted a co-offensive coordinator and receivers coach Tim Harris Jr. to be the Seminoles offensive coordinator. Florida State led the Atlantic Coast Conference in total offense and rushing offense in 2025. Florida State had 9 400-yard outputs in 2025, including back-to-back games with more than 700 yards for the first time in school history. I want to thank Coach Malzahn for his effort and dedication to our program over the last 14 months. Norvell said he did a wonderful job coordinating our events and calling plays in 2025, and he has set a strong foundation for us to continue building on 2026 behind the coordination of Tim Harris and the multiple other assistant coaches who are returning. This was by KY3, written this morning, and now I'm passing it to Pat.
And we have a new Republic City Hall that is getting its finishing touches. This article was actually submitted last week, but they have a meeting today. The first city council meeting is taking place today, so we're going to recap this. Office numbers have just been posted in the new Republic City Hall, replacing handwritten digits on Post-its. These are the little details that are wrapping up interior work at the building where city workers have been situated since December. The paint is fresh, there's new art on the office walls, and the carpet is pristine. On a recent visit, someone was working on a lighting fixture in the Republic City Council chambers at the heart of the building, making ready for the first meeting on the premises on February the 3rd. A little bit of a conflict there. One states the 2nd and one states the 3rd, so we will see tomorrow. The building adjoins the 27,000 square foot facility that was completed in 2024 to house the Community Development's and Public Works Department to provide one-stop convenience for development and construction-related projects. In the 16,000 square foot City Hall, located at 4221 South Wilson Creek Boulevard, there are 25 administrative offices, 3 conference rooms, and a council chambers that is expandable to hold up to 175 people for city functions. Departments include administration, the city clerk, data analytics, finance, human resources, information technology, and legal, according to the Buxton Cubic Dodd Design Collective project architect. The cost was approximately $5.5 million, according to past Springfield Business Journal reporting. Previously, the workers who now operate out of the new City Hall were spread over 4 separate locations, according to the finance director, Bob Ford. This is an ideal scenario for us, said Ford, noting that bringing everyone together in one place makes it easy to collaborate. It makes it fairly easy for us to walk down the hall and meet our public works brethren, as opposed to getting in a car or on a Zoom call. It's easier for city residents too, said Lisa Addington, the city's chief of staff and director of human resources. They can handle permitting, utility billing, and questions and other needs about making multiple trips, without making multiple trips. Addington said the council chambers can accommodate an all-hands meeting by pulling back a movable wall. It's really important to us that we could all meet in one location and not have to rent a venue. When everyone assembles in the enlarged council room, They'll see gunmetal gray walls and furniture in a creamy acorn squash color, a muted version of the official orange and black colors of Republic High School, which is across a farm field from the building. Addington is now looking to get people into the new building to see the finished product. She said an open house is planned for late February to introduce the community to the building, and an all-city huddle will take place before that. The general contractor for the project was Crossland Construction Company, Inc. Addington said the company was great to work with, starting construction in March 25 and finishing on schedule for a December move-in. They were phenomenal, she said. They worked hard and they took no shortcuts. Engineers were Own Inc. for civil, Miller Engineering LLC structural, Buxton Cubic Dodd mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. This article, again, was found in the Springfield Business Journal, submitted by Karen Crago. Catherine.
Okay, so this is written by checkaday.com, and it is Tater Tot Day. Okay, so it's usually annually on February 2nd since 2009, and it was founded by John Brian Hopkins in 2009. The tags are food and drinks, snacks and desserts, hashtag Tater Tot Day. The sources are per Wikipedia wiki/tater-tots_tots. Tater tots are a trademarked name by Ore-Ida, which is now distributed by the H.J. Heinz Company. The name Tater Tots is also generically applied to any similar brands of potato products. Tater is an abbreviation for potato, and tots refers to their small size. In some places, they are simply called tots. Tater tots were invented in 1953 by Ore-Ida founders F. Nephi Grigg and Goldgrid, who were trying to find something to do with leftover potato pieces. They chopped them up and added flour and seasoning, and then pushed them through an extruder and cut them to create the size we know today. They began selling them in stores in 1950. Originally, tater tots were sold at low price, but people were not paying attention to them. When the price, forgive me. When the price was raised a bit, forgive us, the internet is not connecting. We have lost our pages, so we are looking to see what we can do here. It keeps flipping back.
Yeah, I keep trying to connect, but it's not.
Nope,
still not found.
Page not found. Chick-a-day.
We're not connecting. To the internet.
Okay, let's restore with what we were. Tater tots are one of the most popular side dishes at school lunch counters and cafeterias in the United States. They are sold in the frozen section at the grocery stores and at some fast food restaurants. Some restaurants top them with cheese or chili. and cheese is sometimes even put on the inside of them. Some also offer a nachos version called tachos, and some Mexican restaurants offer seasoned tater tots. One of the most popular homemade tater tot recipes is tater tot casserole or hot dish. 70 million pounds of tater tots are sold in the United States each year. Wow, that's really something. How to observe Tater Tot Day. Celebrate Tater Tot Day by eating some tater tots. Although they are often eaten plain, there are many tater tot recipes that can be made. The most classic is probably tater tot casserole. Oops. Okay, we are moving across. Okay. Exclusive content. Enjoying Check-A-Day? It takes a lot of support from fans like you to run a free website. For exclusive content and other perks, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Thank you. We are now going to, let's see, what's today in history? Okay, we've gone over the groundhog.
You can take them.
Yeah. Okay. Ouch. Okay. Well, let's consider this. This is called Branson Magicians indicted on child exploitation charges. How horribly sad. Branson, Missouri. Two magicians who have headline shows in Branson and Las Vegas are facing a federal charge accusing them of producing child sexual abuse material. Gary Carson and Janine Carson were indicted this week on one count of sexual exploitation of a minor, according to court records filed in the Western District of Missouri. Prosecutors allege the pair coerced and persuaded a minor, identified in court documents as John Doe, to engage in sexually explicit acts, so images and videos could be created between January 2023 and June 25. The duo previously performed more than 8,000 shows beginning at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas and have been featured on cruise ships and national tours. In Branson, they have produced and starred in multiple dinner, theater, and magic shows, several of which have received local and national awards, according to the pair's website. And now I turn it over to Pat.
Okay, we are back in the Springfield Business Journal for an article that was submitted, I believe it was on Saturday, and I didn't have it fully open. Yes, on the 30th. This is out of like I said, the Springfield Business Journal. Doug Pitt is named the 2026 Springfieldian. Businessman Doug Pitt has been awarded the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce highest honor. Pitt tonight was recognized as the 2026 Springfieldian during the Chamber's annual meeting, according to a news release. The Springfieldian Award is given annually to an individual with strong community service, excellence in our field, and dedication to improving quality of life for Springfield residents. Just to pause here, we share these stories, and sometimes one computer affects the other. So when there's a pause, it's because we're trying to reorient our screens here. Pitt co-owns, this is back on Doug Pitt, managed service provider Pitt Technology Group, LLC, and leads real estate investment firm Pitt Development Group, LLC, and he also founded nonprofit Care to Learn. His philanthropic work includes support of World Serve International. He is a guy that leverages all of his business connections and all that success specifically to do good things, said Kevin Waterland, co-owner of Pitt Technology Group, in the release. Crystal Simon, CEO of Care to Learn, added that Pitt has made a profound impact on his career. At the end of the day, legacy is an opportunity to make an incredible impact, and it doesn't have to be when you're older. I think you can do it at a young age, Simon said in the release. The annual Springfieldian recipient is chosen by a selection committee at the chamber after nominations are submitted. Last year's honoree was Kevin Osborne of SMC Packaging Group in 2025. In 2025, Pitt was recognized with Springfield Business Journal's annual Lifetime Achievement in Business honor. He told SBJ at that time that his business and philanthropic endeavors go hand in hand. The acumen is the exact same and in Pitt Development Group, Pitt Technology, Care to Learn, World Serve. We are a business first, and the byproduct is building buildings, doing tech, helping children, and clean water. He said in July of 2025, none of these happen unless we're best in class. Again, this article was submitted by the SBJ staff on January in the Springfield Business Journal. Now, some less than upbeat news out this morning at 4:04 a.m. on February 2nd, submitted by Marta Mies in the Springfield News-Leader. The headline is, Lawsuit Blames Springfield Landfill Workers' Deaths on Faulty Equipment. Nearly a year ago, a former Springfield police officer died while working at the Springfield Noble Sanitary Landfill. Now his wife has filed a lawsuit against a dump truck manufacturer, the dealer selling the vehicles, and a repair service provider, while claiming faulty equipment and maintenance resulted in the worker's death. Larry Flett, a solid waste operations associate, was driving an articulated dump truck in the landfill when it overturned and caught fire March 24, 2025. The lawsuit filed by his wife, Lori Flett, in Greene County Circuit Court on Tuesday, January 27th, states an autopsy revealed he died of smoke inhalation and thermal burns without having suffered any other potential fatal injuries. The Fletts had been married for 43 years. The lawsuit is brought against Caterpillar, Inc., the designer and manufacturer of the dump truck Larry Flett was driving, Fabric Brothers Equipment Company, doing business as Fabric Cat, which markets and sells the equipment, and Pomp Tire Service, Inc., along with 5 of its employees who serviced the vehicle Larry Flett was driving the Friday before the accident. According to the court documents, Pomps had a contract with the city to perform certain service work on the dump truck. On Friday, March 21st, 5 of Pomps employees changed and serviced all 6 of the vehicle's tires, which for the Caterpillar 740 articulated dump truck required an air-sealing O-ring gasket. After the weekend, when Larry Flett was using the truck and descending a hill, witnesses observed the dump truck moving at an appropriate speed, yet seeming out of control. Near the bottom of the hill, the truck slid off the side of the road and the cab rolled over roughly 450 degrees, ending up on the passenger side, according to the lawsuit, and instantly catching fire. The court document states that after the incident, one of the tires of the dump truck was found to be deflated, and further inspection allegedly revealed that the tire had been installed without the O-ring gasket and a wheel locking device had been misinstalled. Larry Flett was wearing a seatbelt at the time of the accident. The lawsuit claims Caterpillar designed and manufactured a defective and unreasonably dangerous vehicle, and Fabric then marketed and sold that defective product, making each liable and negligent in Flett's death. The court document lists the following as factors that contributed to the defectiveness of the equipment: that the cab was not designed to keep operators safe in case of fire. The design and construction of the cab kept Larry Flett trapped and unable to escape the fire. The cab was unnecessarily susceptible to rollover, and the dump truck was not equipped with tire air pressure sensors, and the wheels were designed to require the O-ring gasket, among other conditions. In claiming Fabric in particular was negligent and careless, the lawsuit alleges it failed to counsel the city about available technology like a tire monitoring system and failed to provide proper training to city employees. Pumps and 5 of its employees who serviced the vehicle also faced negligent claims that allege the service provider improperly installed tires and allowed unqualified and untrained employees to complete the work, directly causing or contributing to the damages to the Fletts. None of the defendants could be reached for comment by publication time. The lawsuit seeks monetary damages in the excess of $25,000 both for the pain and suffering of Larry Flett and losses of companionship and comfort and support. Larry Flett continues to suffer. Larry Flett previously was a Springfield police officer for 9 years, from 1989 through 1998, and served in the Air Force for 6 years until his discharge in 1998. According to his obituary, he has also worked as an accident reconstructionist and a Greene County bailiff. He was survived by his wife, his parents, 2 children, and 3 grandchildren. Marta Maes submitted this article for the Springfield News-Leader, and it was submitted early this morning, February 2nd. Catherine.
Thank you. Okay, this is about the new Republic City Hall getting finishing touches. The first City Council meeting set for February 2nd, which is today. This is by Karen Crago, reporter. Office numbers have been posted at the new Republic City Hall, replacing handwritten digits on Post-its. These are little details that are wrapping up the interior work at the building, where city workers have been situated since December. The paint is fresh, there's new art on office walls, and the carpet is pristine. On a recent visit, someone was working on a lighting fixture in Republic City Council chambers at the heart of the building, making ready for the first meeting on the premises on February 3rd. The building adjoins the 27,000 square foot builds facility that was completed in 2024 to house the community development and public works departments to provide one-stop convenience for development and construction related projects. In the 16,000 square foot City Hall, located at 4221 South Wilson's Creek Boulevard, there are 25 administrative offices, 3 conference rooms, and a council chambers that is expandable to hold up to 175 people for city functions. Departments include administration, the city clerk, data analysis, finance, human resource, information technology, and legal, according to the Buxton Cubic Dodd Design Collective. The project is architect. The cost was approximately $5.5 million, according to past Springfield Business Journal reporting. Previously, the workers who now operate out of the new City Hall were spread over 4 separate locations, according to Finance Director Bob Ford. This is an ideal scenario for us, said Ford, noting that bringing everyone together in one place makes it easy to collaborate. It makes it fairly easy for us to walk down the hall and meet with our public works brethren, as opposed to getting in the car or on a Zoom call. It's easier for city residents, said Lisa Addington, the city's chief or staff and director of human resources. They can handle permitting, utility building, and questions and other needs without making multiple trips. Addington said that the Council of Chambers can accommodate all hands meeting by pulling back a movable wall. It was really important to us that we could all meet in one location and not have to rent a venue, she said. When everybody assembles in the enlarged council room, they'll see gunmetal gray walls and furniture in a creamy acorn squash color, a muted version of the official orange and black colors of Republic High School, which is across a farm field from the building. Addington is now looking to get people into the new building to see the finished product. She said an open house is planned for late February to introduce the community to the building, and an all-city huddle will take place before that. The general contractor for the project was Crossland Construction Company, Incorporated. Addington said the construction in March 2025 and finishing on schedule for a December move-in. They were phenomenal, she said. They worked hard, and they took no shortcuts. Engineers were Own Incorporated, Civil, and Miller Engineering, LLC, Structural, and Buxton Cubic Dodd, Mechanical, Electrical, and Plumbing. I turn you over to Pat.
Just a couple of shorts here, things to do this month, which is February. So we have the National Heart Month and that we are celebrating. So as part of American Heart Month, Springfield Fire Department, Cox Health EMS, and Mercy EMS will provide hands-free CPR training on Saturdays in February. Each Saturday we'll have a 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. session and a 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. session. Spots are limited to 50 per session, so be sure to register at www.springfieldmo.gov/CPR. Then also, through February the 15th, at the Landers Theater, 311 East Walnut, the musical Come From Far Away follows the true story of 7,000 stranded airline passengers in Gander, Newfoundland on the day after 9/11. The book, music, and lyrics are by Irene Sankoff and David Hine and features a vibrant score, according to Springfield Little Theater. Shows are Thursday through Sunday with tickets starting at $23. For more information, visit springfieldlittletheater.org. Now, this is pretty exciting for Springfield. From the Springfield Daily Citizen, from Joe Hadsell, the Discovery Center launches curriculum and exhibits for teaching students about traveling to Mars. This was submitted just 5 hours ago, so this is hot off the press. The science and engineering behind getting humans to Mars is complicated. A grant from NASA will help a Springfield Science Center teach exactly how it will be done. Officials with Discovery Center announced on Friday a $250,000 grant from NASA to fund a 3-year education program. At the end of the 3 years, the center will offer an exhibit, curriculum, and teaching aids that dive into NASA's Moon to Mars architecture. Rihanna Clark, Vice President of Education for Discovery Center, said the exhibit will be capable of traveling to other educational institutions once it is complete, and the curriculum will be available to anyone, from teachers in public schools to home educators. Our goal is to make it tangible and understandable and not feeling like something that is so far out, Clark said. This isn't Star Trek. This is something we could see in our lifetime. Ultimately, the goal of the project is to prepare students to be part of a space workforce that can help solve the problems standing in the way of that moonshot. The Moon to Mars architecture is a list of elements that are necessary for a long-term human presence on Mars. This is no small technical feat. It will require the development of many systems capable of sustaining human life. While difficult, students say the promise of discovery is great. NASA in September announced that the rover Perseverance uncovered rocks that could hold signs of life similar to that on Earth. The only way to learn more from these samples is to physically get them. Astronauts say the grant earned by the Discovery Center will help students across the country learn much more about that challenge. The award makes the center the only such STEM innovator in Missouri, the CEO Tyler Moles. He said that the grant and designation will bolster the area's workforce development and help inspire a lifelong interest in STEM fields. To be named as a STEM hub for the region, right here in Springfield, Missouri, it's not one of our big city neighbors, Moles said. We told them that we've got this. We are going to teach STEM, and we're taking it seriously. The center already has several ways of teaching attendees about space. An interactive exhibit features details about the planets in our solar system. It also houses the Smithsonian exhibit, A New Moon Rises, which features large, high-resolution images of the moon's surface and chronicles the history of our lunar research. That exhibit was inspirational for the center's work to get the grant, Clark said. As the name implies, the Moon to Mars architecture requires establishing a base of operations on the moon in order to launch spacecraft toward Mars. We didn't just go to the moon and say, oh, we did it, that's it. We've continued to go in different ways, Clark said, and now we're looking to go in an even bigger way. The center has already been designing the curriculum and exhibit, Clark said. While the exhibits will be designed for everyone, the curriculum will be geared for 5th to 8th graders. The center asked educators to get involved. A link to a survey was presented for teachers of all sorts to show their interest. A formal application process will open at a later date. Clark said they are seeking anyone involved with teaching children, including traditional teachers, librarians, home educators, and more. Scholarships may be available for educators who don't live in the region. We don't want to limit it to just classroom teachers because we want everyone to be able to participate, Clark said. We want to know how many people are interested, and then the number of people interested will tell us how competitive the scholarships would need to be. Friday's event was attended by City Council members Bruce Adib Yazdi and Heather Hardinger, as well as District 130 State Representative Bishop Davidson. Joe Hardsell submitted this article into the Daily Citizen just 5 hours ago. So you've got fresh news there. Catherine.
The middle. Here we go. Okay. We are currently broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store, situated at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. For additional information about our store, please visit our official website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. To explore more of our video content, including movie reviews with Matt and Meredith, adaptive technology training videos, and other informative material, please visit our YouTube channel by searching for Blind Community Thrift Store. Our organization is dedicated to supporting the blind community through various initiatives, and our online platforms serve as valuable resources for community engagement and education. So this article is from the Springfield News-Leader. It is written by Rudy Keller, who is a Missouri independent. Missouri GOP bats income tax repeal as critics warn sales taxes target poor. First key point. 1. Missouri lawmakers are considering a plan to replace the state's individual income tax with an expanded sales tax. 2. The proposed constitutional amendment would give the legislature 3 years to overhaul state tax policies. 3. Opponents worry the plan would shift the tax burden to lower income residents and give politicians too much power. So in parentheses, there's a correction. Due to a publishing error, an earlier version of this story included incorrect byline information. The story was written by Rudy Keller of the Missouri Independent. During a Wednesday, January 28th, hearing on Governor Mike Kehoe's plan to replace Missouri's individual income tax with an expanded sales tax, the key word was trust. The proposed constitutional amendment giving the legislature 3 years to overhaul state tax policies is open-ended. It allows lawmakers to impose sales tax on any financial transaction exchanging goods or services. In his State of State address, the only parts of economy Kehoe put off limits was agriculture, healthcare, and real estate. And as he presented the proposal to the House Commerce Committee, the House Speaker, John Patterson, said everything else was to lawmakers. The state's revenue needs will be protected by revenue triggers at levels unstated in the proposed amendment. As the individual income tax is reduced and finally eliminated, Patterson said. It will be up to you to decide what trigger do we want and make sure that it's done in a responsible way so that we don't have things that have happened in other states, Patterson said. So we're asking the people to trust the legislature to raise their sales tax, to raise any other taxes that they see fit, and to trust politicians to make those responsible decisions, said Representative Nick Kimball, a Kansas City Democrat. Well, not any more than they trust you now, Patterson said, triggering round of laughter in the PAT committee room. The proposal, as written, puts nothing off limits. It includes a 3-year exemption to the Missouri Constitution's requirements that tax increases win voter approval, and that any upon or measured by fuel used by propelling highway motor vehicles be earmarked for road needs. Patterson's proposal seeks to end the personal income tax as early as January 2031. Income taxes on businesses and trusts will continue. I am now turning it over to Pat.
Okay, we are in very close to our second half today. So then we're down to some very serious news of events over the past weekend. This was submitted to the Daily Citizen by Steve Pokin on January the 29th. A man was jailed after allegedly assaulting a woman while she was holding a baby. Victim suffered a concussion. Greene County prosecutors have charged a 33-year-old Rogersville man with domestic assault and other felonies for allegedly punching a woman in the face while she was holding a baby, forcefully cutting her hair with a razor, striking her in the head with a shoe, and causing a concussion. Cody James Deckard was arrested January 23rd and has been in the Greene County Jail since that time. His next court date is a bond hearing at 9 a.m. February 5th in the courtroom of Greene County Associate Judge Philip Furman. The charge of domestic assault in the first degree is a Class A felony punishable by 10 to 30 years in prison. Deckard also faces felony charges of domestic assault in the second degree, endangering the welfare of a child, causing substantial risk, unlawful use of a weapon, and an armed criminal action. According to court documents, a Greene County Sheriff's deputy responded to a report of domestic assault at about 6:40 p.m. Friday, January 23rd. The deputy reported that Deckard struck the victim on the back of her head several times with a shoe until she lost consciousness, fell onto a bed while holding the baby. The victim reported that when she woke up, Deckard was using a razor to cut her hair. According to court documents, the victim told the deputy that Deckard threatened to burn the house down with everyone inside and used a lighter to set fire to a stuffed animal toy. He allegedly told the victim, "Try to leave now." She reported that Deckard held the blade of the pocket knife to her throat and said, "Try to leave now." The court documents state that when Greene County deputies arrived, the victim ran out of the house with the baby, and Deckard used an electric screwdriver to drill screws into the door frame, preventing deputies from entering the front door. Deckard fled the house and was arrested at a tree line at the back of the property. Reports state that Deckard was highly intoxicated and unable to be interviewed. Further, the report states that the victim believed Deckard was trying to kill her. The victim suffered a concussion, and the baby was not hurt. Steve Pokin writes Pokin Around and the answer man for the Springfield Daily Citizen, and this was submitted on January 29th. Catherine.
Well, we have some gardening to do. We're coming out of the winter and soon enough spring. Okay, so this is from the Springfield News-Leader. It's under entertainment, and the title is Ever Heard of Horticulture? Master Gardener explains how it works. This is by Helen Vanella, Master Gardeners at Greene County. What is horticulture? I have heard a bit about it and wonder if this is something I could use in my garden. Horticulture is a German term which translates as mound culture and is a method of constructing permaculture raised beds. The technique involves creating a raised bed by using a base of decaying wood and other organic materials. This will result in a self-sustaining, and nutrient-rich planting bed. The decaying wood in the base will also act as a sponge to retain moisture, which is slowly released to the plant roots. Requiring much less watering, construction involves stacking large logs first, then smaller branches, filling out the bed with compost and soil. The logs should be stacked to a height of 3 to 6 feet. Larger to smaller, it is best to build your bed in the fall for planting, which is planting, but the bed can also be planted immediately after it is built. This method can also be used in a smaller scale for containers. One downside of this method is that it does require more time and physical work for the initial construction than more conventional methods. Hugelkultur beds also require some maintenance, since end contents decompose, requiring the addition of more materials. When is the best time to sow poppy seeds? Should I start these inside to transplant later, or should they be sowed directly outside? Poppy seeds should be planted directly to the soil in the fall or early spring, sprinkling on the soil lightly, barely covering them. Poppy seeds require cool soil and light to germinate, 50 to 60 degrees, and can tolerate a light frost. In growing zones 3 to 7, seeds planted in the fall will overwinter well and provide early spring blooms. The seeds can also be planted in the spring as soon as the ground is workable. If planted in the spring, cold stratification for a few weeks in the fridge will improve germination rates. Poppies dislike being transplanted, so should be planted directly in the soil. Sowing seeds in summer is not recommended since they germinate poorly when temperatures are 70 or above. What is the eating of the bark off of my fruit trees? Most of the damage is low to the ground, but some is higher up. What can I do to prevent this? The lower damage is most likely due to rabbits. Anything higher is probably caused by deer. Scraping against the bark, fencing around the trees will help prevent some access to the bark. Chicken wire will work for this purpose, making the fence at least 4 feet tall and 12 inches or so away from the trunk. Spaced like this, deer will not be able to jump over it to access the tree. The chicken wire, spacing 12 inches from the trunk, will also allow for growth of the tree, and the fence will not have to be moved often. Readers can pose questions or get more information by calling 417-874-2963 and talking to one of the trained volunteers staffing the Master Gardeners Hotline at the University of Missouri Extension Center in Greene County, located inside the Botanical Center, 2400 South Scenic Avenue, Springfield, Missouri, 65807. And here is Pat.
Okay, we have another article regarding the convention center that is being proposed and has been addressed in the past election. Convention center, an opportunity to innovate. The firm with a international reputation was tapped for a proposed project. This was submitted January 30th by Karen Crago to the Springfield Business Journal. There's a sweet spot here for places like Springfield to do something different. That was the outlook of Adam Polich, principal for Global Convention Center Design Practice for Kansas City-based architectural firm Populous Inc. Polich was explaining some of the philosophical underpinnings of the approach his company would take in designing a proposed downtown Springfield Convention and Events Center. He spoke on January 28th in the first of 2 community visioning workshops. Polich began his public presentation by noting that Populous works all over the world. We never come to a city and tell you what's best for your city. We ask questions. He added that Populous begins working with city officials and Springfield firm SAP Design Associate Architects about 6 months before the late January announcement of the city's selection of Populous for design services. Polich said convention centers are part of a tricky ecosystem that includes everything from restaurants to hotels, airports, and Ubers or cabs. In a January 23rd media preview event, Polich compared innovation in the convention center space to turn around a cruise ship with a number of entities involved and a reluctance among people to take risks. Cities like Springfield are ripe. They are at the cutting edge of being able to do something different, he said. You guys are building a new facility. You have no baggage of an existing facility. Populous has designed a large number of internationally recognized buildings. Among these are the $2.3 billion Las Vegas Sphere, a 20,000-person music and entertainment arena with an outer envelope consisting of an LED screen, as well as high-profile buildings like Wembley Stadium in the United Kingdom and the Tom Bradley International Terminal at Los Angeles International Airport. Additionally, in late January, Populous was announced to be one of 2 finalists in Manica to design a $2.2 billion Kansas City Chiefs football stadium at Johnson County, Kansas, ahead of the team's move there for the 2031 football season, according to media reports. Polich and colleagues plan to continue amassing public feedback through the pre-design period. Up next is a second visioning workshop that is set for February 9th through the 10th, with a concept validation session to be held February 23rd and 24th. The pre-design process is slated to conclude March the 6th, when an initial rendering is anticipated in advance of the April 7th election. That is when Springfield voters will decide whether to fund a convention and events center with an additional 3% tax on hotel, motel, and short-term rental accommodations. The Convention and Events Center was recommended by city consultants Hunden Strategic Partners, Inc. in the Chicago-based firm fourth study since 2011 of Springfield's capacity for a convention center, according to past Springfield Business Journal reporting. That report specified that the center should be downtown with an upscale, chain-branded hotel attached. A hotel would be a private undertaking and not a city-funded one, according to past SBJ reporting. During the media preview, Polich characterized the Hunden report as a jumping-off point for the project and not the last word on the project. The report is just the first set of information that we need to start to interpret from a design, economic cost standpoint, and just make sure that we're checking all the boxes, he said. We're the ones at the table that are going to deliver this. We're the ones that are going to take all the risks on your behalf to hit your budget, to hit your goals. Populous will also provide an image of what the center would look like, a detail that voters told City Manager David Cameron in feedback meetings about the failed tax that they wanted to see. The schedule called for the city to receive its convention center imagery a month before Election Day. In introducing the public visioning workshop, Tim Rosenberry, the city's director of Quality of Place Initiatives, said the people voted against the tax when it was proposed in November of 2025 because they didn't know what they were voting for. There wasn't a proposal, Rosenberry said. There was an idea, maybe, but they didn't know what it would look like. They didn't know where it would be. They didn't know exactly how much it would cost and what it meant to them. Rosenberry said the visioning session would begin to answer those questions, but it would not discuss how the center would be managed or financed or what kind of development it might spin off. Tonight we're kind of taking the big picture of convention centers, he said. Selection and contract. Rosenberry said the city received 10 statements of qualifications from architects wishing to work on the center. On January 23rd, SBJ submitted a public records request seeking the names of the firms, but that was not available by press time. 5 of those firms are global leaders, and I am not exaggerating, global leaders in the design of convention centers, he said during the visioning session. We had a choice. 4 firms were interviewed and Populous was chosen among them, Rosenberry said. A contract signed by SBJ from the city for Populous pre-design work, or obtained by SBJ from the city for Populous pre-design work, shows a not to exceed amount of $376,500 for the scheduled workshops and sessions with delivery of a concept design and marketing visuals due by March the 6th. Pre-design work is being funded through the reserves from the city's existing motel and hotel tax. An allocation of $750,000 was approved by the City Council in October of 2025 for convention center planning, design, and construction. Officials say the city will reimburse itself for these costs once financing is secured and according to past SBJ reporting. The Populous contract specifies that if project funding is approved, another full project schedule for complete design and construction of the center will be developed with a design team, client, and construction manager at risk. Consultants were listed as SAP Design Associate and Architects, Inc., local architectural partner, with Engineers Olson, Inc., Civil, MKA International, Inc., Walnut Creek, California, Structural, and Henderson Engineers, Inc., Kansas City, for mechanical, engineer, and plumbing. Populous also designs convention centers like the MBO Center in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, winner of the 2025 American Architecture Award in the Exposition Center category. In the U.S., some convention centers designed by Populous include the Base at Extraco Convention Center in Waco, Texas, which opened 2021, the Resch Expo in Green Bay, Wisconsin, 2021, the Oklahoma City Convention Center in Oklahoma, 2020, the Anaheim Convention Center in California, 2017, the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in San Antonio, Texas, 2016, and the Phoenix Convention Center in Arizona, 2008. Centers in Los Angeles and Orlando, Florida are in progress. Rosenberry said construction in Springfield Convention Center will likely end up with the $120 million range within the $170 million project total cost, professional expenses, and land acquisitions, subtracting professional land expenses and land acquisitions. He said architectural designs will land somewhere between the 7% and 10% of the project cost, meaning the final contract could be as much as $10 million. The 70-person audience for the visioning session was held at the Discover Center in downtown Springfield. When asked for his reaction to what he had heard, Chris Mattis, who lives outside the city limits and would not be able to vote on the tax issue, said he works in the healthcare industry and is excited about the prospect of a new convention center in Springfield. Mattis said he often tries to find the right size of venue for conferences around the state, with recent events in St. Charles, Kansas City, and Branson. I would love to bring it to Springfield, but they don't have the right setup. The Expo Center is fine for exhibits, but then we don't have the classroom space for 4 or 5 educational offerings going on simultaneously, and then the then the hotel, University Plaza, is in poor condition. Another audience member, Beth Heckwit, was present with her husband, Mark Heckwood, who markets meeting spaces as president and CEO of Visit Springfield, Missouri. Beth Heckwood's interest was professional instead of personal, however. She plans conferences for the E.W. Scripps Company, a broadcasting company. It's inspiring to see the vision that Populous is putting forth and to see their background, she said. I was always excited about the event center, especially now that I see Populous is behind it and they come with such a strong breadth of expertise. She said conference goers do not necessarily attend conferences to be educated by presenters. They're there to network and be educated by their peers in the common spaces that in the past used to be just a hallway. Now they're purpose-built with the intent of drawing people in. Heckworth added that when she is sourcing a meeting or event for people coming from throughout the country and the world, she wants them to experience the destination city. Paulette's presentation included examples of convention centers designed by Populous, and Heckworth said she was impressed by how the building reflected the unique character of the cities in which they were located. To me, a meeting planner, I've chosen that city for a reason, not just for the convention center, not just for the hotel. If I'm going to a place that isn't just showing me a box, but it's showing me a built-in experience of Springfield, of the Ozarks, of Southwest Missouri, it's one less thing I have to do. They've gotten that taken care of, and I can focus on my speakers. This article, again, was submitted to the Springfield Business Journal by Karen Crago on January 30th. Catherine.
Well, hello. We are learning so much information about our city and what's going on. That's wonderful, isn't it? Okay, so this one is by the Springfield News-Leader. It's See How Much Missouri Unemployment Claims Declined Last Week. Staff reports USA Today Network. Initial filings for unemployment benefits in Missouri dropped last week compared with the week prior, the U.S. Department of Labor said Thursday. New jobless claims, a proxy for layoffs, fell to 3,805 in the week ending January 24th, down from 5,046 the week before. The Labor Department said U.S. unemployment claims dropped to 209,000 last week, down 1,000 claims from 210,000 the week prior on a seasonally adjusted basis. Nebraska saw the largest percentage increase in weekly claims, with claims jumping by 207.4%. Kentucky, meanwhile, saw the largest percentage, jumping by 200 in new claims, dropping in new claims, with claims dropping by 59.7%. USA Company is publishing localized versions of the story on its news sites across the country, generated with data from the U.S. Department by Labor's weekly unemployment. Do you want me to go?
Sure.
Do another one. Okay.
I'm ready.
So we are going to look at maybe Ozarks Live and see what's going on. Okay, so this one is about DTF St. Louis, a new HBO series set in Missouri, sets release date. This is by Ahmed Jawadi and USA Network. HBO has released the official trailer for its new dark comedy which takes place in Missouri. DTF St. Louis, which was written and directed by Patriot creator Stephen Conrad, is described as a love triangle between three adults experiencing middle-aged melees that leads to one of them ending up dead. Here's what to know about the release of DTF St. Louis. Who's in the DTF St. Louis cast? The show stars Jason Bateman, David Harbour, Linda Cardellini, Richard Jenkins, Joy Sunday, Arlen Ruff, Peter Sarsgaard, and Chris Perfetti. This will be Bateman's second Missouri-based showman, following his role as Marty Bird in the popular Netflix series Ozarks. Where was DTF St. Louis filmed? Unfortunately, like with Ozark, DTF St. Louis was not filmed in Missouri. It was instead filmed in Atlanta. DTF Lewis will be released on Sunday, March 1st at 8 p.m. CT on HBO and streaming on HBO Max. The 7-episode series will release weekly episodes on Sundays, leading up to the series finale on Sunday, April 12th at 7 p.m. CT. So Ahmed Jawadi covers trending and service topics across Missouri. Contact him at ajawadi@gannett.com. And here is Pat.
Another business update from C Street, Commercial Street. We have Mumbles 1888 will be located, or is located, at 504 East Commercial Street and tentatively set for a soft opening in just a few days, February 5th through the 7th. Springfield Brewing Company's long-awaited soccer club, Mumbles 1888, will officially open its doors on historic Commercial Street in early February. Mumbles 1888, located at 504 East Commercial Street, is tentatively scheduled for a soft opening February 5th through the 7th, said Neil Chanter, co-owner of Springfield Brewing Company, the parent company of the soccer pub. The sports bar will host a grand opening sometime in March or April 2026. Mumbles 1888 lands in the heart of C Street in the building that formerly housed Springfield staple Ruthie's Bar. The bar moved just off the historic street in late 2024. The soccer pub will be slinging SBC beers and Thai Iched Da Distillery, excuse me if I said that wrong, spirits. The name of the bar is derived from the popular pub crawl location in Chanter's home country, Wales, known as the Mumbles Mile. The 1888 comes from the year that the historic C Street building was occupied, as well as the year the English Football League started. Mumbles is going for simple, Chanter said with a laugh. Cocktails will include 2 ingredients or less. Open and slinging for all games, even early morning Premier League matches. The goal is to be open and serving for every major soccer match that Springfield fans want to see, Chanter said. That will mean some early mornings for the pub, as Premier League, a professional soccer league in England, matches can happen as early as 6 a.m. Springfield time. While it's a soccer or football pub, Mumbles will show other sports like rugby, cricket, darts, and Formula One racing. The pub won't shy away from showing American sports, even American football. Mumbles' opening will align with the 2026 Olympics, the Super Bowl, and then later this year, the World Cup will kick off. With 8 TVs, there are plenty of screens to catch a match. Mumbles 1888 will offer some snacks like special chips ordered from overseas, but the pub that will have an open door policy when it comes to grub. Customers can eat anything they bring with them. Chanter said the pub is working with restaurants on Commercial Street for food deliveries and to-go orders. Renovations so extensive that the company purchased the building last year. While the plan was to rent the space on Commercial Street, once crews started on renovations, the full extent of the work that needed to be done became apparent. Chanter said the company decided to buy the building and work out a purchase agreement with the previous owner. Ultimately, when we figured out how much work that was going to be done, we bought it, Chanter said. Chanter declined to disclose the financial terms of the property acquisition. The SBC co-owner also declined to disclose the renovation costs for the building or the total financial investment to open Mumbles 1888. The building was sold in November 2025 and is owned by Lower Deck 94 LLC, according to Greene County Assessor's Office records. The just over 3,900 square foot building was appraised at $202,000. Yes. Lower Deck 94 lists Chanter as an organizer, and the company is registered to John D. Hammonds Jr., according to Missouri State Secretary of State records. The innovations were extensive. The historic building had 5 layers of wooden flooring, Chanter said. None of those layers, including the subfloor, were salvageable. Concrete floors were poured as a replacement. The walls of the building had been coated with a century's worth of cover-ups. Renovations included stripping the walls of the original brick facade. The ceiling, which was also coated in old layers of plaster and wallpaper, was stripped to its original look. Mumbles went to great lengths to restore and keep the back wooden bar, which was constructed in 1936. The building at 504 East Commercial has worn many faces over the years, but Chanter said he is proud to be transforming the property back into a tap room. The building was first opened as a grocery store, then a second-hand shop and a pie company. In 1938, it became Bradley's Tap Room, which was short-lived. In 1947, the space became the Frisco Tap Room, which remained for more than 6 decades, according to Springfield historian Richard Crabtree. After the Frisco, it became Ruthie's on C Street. The site returns to its taproom glory with the opening of Mumbles 1888. Technically, Mumbles 1888 will be yet another satellite location for SBC, just like the brewery's tap rooms in Rogersville and Willard. In keeping with the other satellite locations, a small component of production will occur at Mumbles. The soccer pub will use the northwest corner of the building to barrel-age spirits for TID. The property includes an upstairs apartment that is ready to rent, though it is not a tenant. There is not a tenant occupying the space as of now, Chanter said. Mumbles will occupy 1,000 square feet on the main floor of the building. The walls will be covered with sports memorabilia donated by customers. Chanter has modeled Mumbles 1888 after a St. Louis soccer pub, Amsterdam Tavern. Inside Amsterdam, try saying that. Inside Amsterdam, you will find the walls of the pub covered in sports memorabilia, mostly Premier League themed. The St. Louis pub takes donations from loyal fans who want to see their favorite team represented. The memorabilia is changed from time to time, and the pub has plenty to choose from. Chanter said the basement is filled with all kinds of sports collectibles. Chanter has the same plan for Mumbles. The pub owner will start with the Springfield and Missouri staples like Missouri State University, Drury University, the Kansas City Chiefs, and more. Chanter said he doesn't expect it to take too long to fill the walls with customer donations. Mumbles 1888 has hired Bailey Turner as the general manager. Turner has been with the Springfield Brewing Company for more than a year. Chandler said he was the perfect choice to lead Mumbles because Turner has a great passion for soccer and a pub themed around the sport. Turner spent some time in Alabama, and he and his wife frequented a soccer pub there. You don't have to be an experienced Premier League fan to enjoy Mumbles 1888, Turner said. I think it'll be a cool place that you can come in for the first time and feel welcomed and check out the sport. While renovations and last touches are ongoing, Chandler said the entrance to Mumbles will display 3 phrases: welcome home, world sports, local drinks. Welcome home is a big part of what we want this place to be, Chandler said. We want it to be a kind of your other home type place. Ray Collins submitted this article to the Springfield Business Journal, Springfield Daily Citizen, just 5 hours ago. Catherine.
Well, hello. We are on anothercheckaday.com. It's also known Day of the Crepe, Fête de la Lumière, Jour des Crêpes, La Chandeleur, National Crepe Day. That's quite a bit to say in French, isn't it? It's normally observed on February 2nd, which is today. The tags are food and drinks, snacks and desserts. Hashtag Pound Crepe Day. Capital Z, R-E-P-E in lowercase and capital D-A-Y in uppercase. The sources are wikipedia.org/wiki/Caldemas pound France _ In French, Caldemas translate to La Chandeleur and is also known as Crepe Day, as well as Fête de la Lumière and Jour des Crêpes, which translate to Festival of Light and Pancake Day. While Crepe Day is rooted in Caldemas, the Christian holiday that takes 40 days after Christmas. It also is influenced by a pre-Christian holiday that celebrates the harvest and the midway point of winter. It is believed crepes became associated with Caldemas after Pope Julius I gave out pancakes to pilgrims arriving in Rome during it. Besides being observed in France, Crepe Day is regularly celebrated in Belgium and in Romandy, the French-speaking region of Switzerland. Crepes are thin pancakes made from batter consisting of eggs, flour, butter, and milk or water. Traditionally made with buckwheat flour, the consensus is that they were first made in Brittany, France. Crepe Day is celebrated in France by making crepes, which are said to symbolize prosperity. There is a tradition when making them of holding a coin in one's writing hand and the crepe pan in the other, and of the flipping of the crepe in the air. If the crepe is caught, it signals prosperity for the family for the rest of the year. Others in France put a coin on top of the crepe while cooking it to bring luck. The round shape of crepes is said to represent the cooking it to bring luck. The round shape is to represent the circle of life. And the sun, which the sun symbolizing the return of spring after cold of winter. It may be only February 2nd, but this isn't the only holiday, the date that is associated with looking ahead for warmer days. How to observe Crepe Day. Make crepes. Make them while holding a coin in your dominant hand and the crepe pan in your other. If you flip the crepe in the air and catch it, your family will have prosperity for the rest of the year. You could also bring luck by putting a coin on top of the crepe while cooking it. If you don't feel like cooking, have some crepes at a French restaurant, or even in France if you are able to. You could eat crepes all day long. Have sweet crepes for breakfast and dessert, and have savory crepes for lunch and dinner. I turn this over to Pat.
Okay, this article was submitted to the Springfield News-Leader just this past Friday. Senate passes funding bill as the shutdown set to take effect. The Senate passed a government funding bill with changes demanded by Democrats concerned about immigration enforcement, and sent it to the House as lawmakers work to avoid an extended shutdown. With government funding expiring at midnight January the 30th and the House not expected to return until Monday, February 2nd, today, a brief funding lapse is looming over the weekend, but the impact would be limited if the House moves quickly to pass the bill this week. President Donald Trump has urged Republicans to get behind the revised funding package, which he negotiated with Senate Democrats. The legislation, which cleared the Senate by a 71-29 vote, extends spending for the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees immigration and customs enforcement and border patrol, for just 2 weeks while the lawmakers negotiate over ICE reforms and funds over other government agencies through September. Democrats pushed to separate DHS funding from the rest of the spending package amid the backlash to immigration enforcement actions in Minneapolis and the death of Alex Pretty and Renee Good, who were shot by federal agents. They are demanding changes to ICE, which some Republicans also want to see. I'm glad that Democrats are using leverage to try to bring about reform. Senator Rand Paul, Republican from Kentucky, told reporters Friday, and this isn't because I want no ICE. I want people to trust ICE. House Speaker Mike Johnson told USA Today on Thursday that at least a brief shutdown is likely because of the time it will take to get House members back to the Capitol to vote on the funding measure. Monday likely is the earliest the House will vote, Johnson said. But the House is going to do its job. He added, we want to get the government funded, and so does the president. The Senate brings voting on government funding deal. Breaking an impasse that had held up the bill, the Senate began advancing legislation to fund the government and avoid an extended shutdown. Senators began voting on 7 amendments to the funding package late Friday afternoon. President Donald Trump and Senate Democrats had negotiated a compromise funding bill and addressing concerns about immigration enforcement, but at least one GOP senator held up a vote on the bills over other demands. Senator Lindsey Graham later lifted his hold on the bill, allowing it to proceed. He said in a statement that the Senate president addressed his concern. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky said he's happy with the government funding deal negotiated between Senate Democrats and Trump that separates DHS funding and only extends it for 2 weeks while lawmakers debate ICE reforms. I'm glad that the bills have been separated, Paul reported. Paul told reporters on January 30th, I'm glad that the Democrats are using leverage to try to bring about some reform. And this isn't because I want no ICE. I want people to trust ICE. I want people to trust the immigration authorities. Now to an article from the Springfield Daily Citizen. This one was submitted by the Daily Citizen staff on January 30th, 2026, so just this past Saturday. There is a photo submitted by Zoe McIntyre of the police vehicle They are investigating they have an investigation on East Elm Street on Thursday. This article is over that. Springfield police say the shooting on Thursday, January 29th on East Elm was determined to be a murder-suicide. Police were dispatched just before 2 p.m. to a residence in the 1200 block of East Elm Street to check the well-being of a suicidal man, according to a news release from the Springfield Police Department. When officers arrived, the release said they located the 25-year-old Ethan Mitchell dead inside the home with a gunshot wound. Devin Cogdill, 33, was also found in the home with gunshot wound. Cogdill was transported to a local hospital where he later died, according to the release. The release says Springfield Police Department detectives determined Mitchell shot Cogdill and then Mitchell died by suicide. Detectives continue to investigate and ask anyone who has information about this incident to contact Springfield Police Department at 417-864-1810 or make an anonymous call to Crime Stoppers at 417-869-TIPS. Cogdill's death marks the 4th homicide this month in the city of Springfield. Please, Catherine, take it.
Thank you. Okay, Ozark timeshare salesman sentenced to prison for tax evasion. This was written by SBJ staff. An Ozark timeshare salesman has been sentenced to time in prison and an order of restitution for tax evasion. Ryan J. McMillan, 52, was handed a sentence of 18 months in federal prison without parole, followed by 3 years of supervised release. He additionally was ordered to pay $460,283 in restitution and $149,397 in interest, for a total exceeding $609,000, according to the news release. From the office of R. Matthew Price, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Missouri. McMillan admitted in a June 2025 guilty plea that he did not report income he received as a timeshare salesman at 4 different companies from 2018 to 2023. During those years, McMillan submitted 8 different forms to his employers falsely claiming exempt status. Therefore, his employers did not withhold taxes from his paychecks. According to the release, McMillan failed to file an income tax return or pay $981,000 in income taxes he owed to the IRS during the 6-year period. McMillan could not be reached for comment immediately by deadline. He was prosecuted by Assistant U.S. Attorney Casey Clark. The case was investigated by IRS Criminal Investigation. You want to go?
We have a couple of new restaurants opening in the area. This article was presented to Springfield News-Leader by Susan Schuch on January the 31st, so it's pretty fresh. And that's what we're talking about. A fresh Mexican chain comes to Springfield. A cafe with an eye on food allergies and sensitivities prepares to open, and a deli opens in the Frisco building. Well, we've already read that one. Panchero's Mexican Grill opening a location in Springfield. Panchero's Mexican Grill is opening on February 3rd at 2100 West Republic Road. It will be open from 10:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. daily. For the month after opening, guests who will use the Panchero's loyalty app can access promotions including $1 burritos using a code SPRINGFIELD, that's a 1 instead of the I in Springfield, February 5th through 10th, as well as a buy one, get one free entree offer for all loyalty members from February 13th to 15th, and that covers Valentine's Day. The fast casual Tex-Mex chain is known for offering fresh pressed tortillas, which are pressed at the time of ordering, and a special spatula that mixes ingredients so every bite is the perfect bite, according to a press release. The location is run by Davis Fresh Mex, a company that is owned by father and son team Dick and Joe Davis. Both men are Missouri natives and graduates of Missouri State University. We're especially excited to bring Pancheros to Springfield, specifically as this city holds a special place in the hearts of Davis Fresh Mex team. Dick Davis said in a press release, "Both my son and I graduated from Missouri State University, and returning to Springfield offers us an opportunity to give back to the community where our careers began." This is the sixth Pancheros in Missouri, with the Davises looking to open another in Lebanon in the future, according to the press release. The cafe specializing in allergies and sensitivities is opening soon. The Safe Spoon, a cafe created by local bakery Sensitivity Sweet, will host its grand opening 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. February 6 and 7 at 1450 East Sunshine. Our focus is simple: serving comforting, delicious breakfast, lunch, and coffee made with thoughtful, locally sourced ingredients. The Safe Spoon posted on its grand opening event page. Every dish is crafted to be free from the top allergens, celiac safe, alpha-gal safe, and dye-free, so you can enjoy food without fear, whether you have dietary needs or simply care about what you're eating. The cafe will serve up drinks, breakfast, sandwiches, soups, and salads. According to the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, about 6% of Americans have a food allergy. 8 foods, eggs, milk, and dairy, peanuts, tree nuts, fish, shellfish, wheat, soy, and sesame, account for about 90% of all food allergy reactions. Owner Katrina Hagen began baking gluten-free treats in 2022, according to the reporting from 417 magazine, and opened the bakery Sensitively Sweet in November 2024.
We are going over, this is Kathleen, the SBJ, over an article, Costco sued over $5 rotisserie chickens. 2 Southern California women have filed suit against Costco. The lawsuit alleges the company's $5 rotisserie chickens are falsely advertised as preservative-free. Costco told the New York Times that it has removed the statements about preservatives from its rotisserie chickens to maintain consistency among the labeling on our rotisserie chickens and the signs in our warehouses/online presentations. We have removed statements concerning preservatives from the signs and online presentation. Costco officials said in a statement to the New York Times, "We use carrageenan and sodium phosphate to support the moisture retention, texture, and product consistency during cooking." There we go. With Valentine's spending projected to hit a record this year, how will your spending compare to last year?
This article from Springfield News-Leader, Morgan Shannon, special to the News-Leader, submitted this article early this morning. Creativity and community shine at the library this February. February has always been a difficult word for me to say, so please forgive me. Kids and teens in grades K through 12 can put their creativity to work this February as the library opens its 27th annual Design a Bookmark contest. The contest begins February 1st and entries are due by March 21st. Entry forms will be available at the Springfield Greene County Library branches and on the mobile library and can be downloaded beginning February 1st at the library.org/bookmarks. Completed designs may be returned to any branch, and digital submissions can be emailed to imagine@thelibrary.org. Originals of digital entries may be requested. One winner and 3 runners-up will be selected in each grade category: K through 2nd, 3rd through 4th, 5th through 6th, 7th through 8th, 9th through 10th, and 11th through 12th. Winners will be invited to a reception in April, and first-place designs will be printed as full-color bookmarks distributed at libraries and community events throughout the year. Each winner will also receive a certificate and a Hobby Lobby gift card. All winning designs will be posted at the library.org/bookmarks. Celebrating Black Brilliance Storytime. Throughout February, Racing to Read Storytimes will feature books by Black authors and illustrators for infants through age 6. Visit the library.org/programs to find dates and times at your branch. Freedom Classroom 101, Community Meet and Greet. Experience the creativity of emerging local talent from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Saturday, February 12th in the Midtown Carnegie Branch Library upstairs meeting room. Christine Peoples, Education Coordinator for Timmons Hall Freedom Classroom 101 series, will host a come and go meet and greet featuring exhibits by Samantha Haney, architecture student and intern with the Springfield City Manager's Office, Rachel Kersey, manager, editor, writer at Missouri State University, and Marcella Donson, freelance photographer and Hillcrest High School student. This article again was submitted by Morgan Shannon to the Springfield News-Leader. Kathleen.
Well, this is another checkaday.com. We have another special for today, and it is called Heavenly Hash Day. So today we have crepes, and we have this. It's annually on February 2nd. It's under tags, food and drink, hashtags, Heavenly Hash Day. The sources are https:// www.cdkitchen.com/recipes/4/articles//view/day.html. Heavenly Hash Day is celebrated every year on February 2nd. This day is dedicated to the delicious dessert known as Heavenly Hash, which is a delightful mix of fruits, nuts, marshmallows, and creamy substances like whipped cream or yogurt. The origins of Heavenly Hash Day are somewhat unclear, but the dessert itself has been a popular treat in the United States for many years. The term Heavenly Hash is believed to have been first by the candy company Marshmallow Fluff in the early 20th century. How to observe Heavenly Hash Day. Here are some fun ways to celebrate Heavenly Hash Day. 1. Make your own Heavenly Hash Encourage students to make their own version of Heavenly Hash. They can use fruits, nuts, marshmallows, and a creamy substance of their choice. This can be fun and creative activity. 2. Heavenly Hash Tasting Party. Organize a tasting party where everyone brings their own version of Heavenly Hash. This can be a great way to try different variations of the dirt. 3. Learn about ingredients. Discuss the different ingredients that can be used in Heavenly Hash. This can be a great opportunity to learn about different fruits, nuts, and other ingredients. 4. Discuss healthy eating. Use Heavenly Hash Day as an opportunity to discuss healthy eating. Talk about how to make healthier versions of the dessert, such as using yogurt instead of whipped cream, or adding more fruits and nuts. Remember, Heavenly Hash Day is not just about enjoying a delicious dessert. It's also about learning and having fun. So let's get ready to celebrate. I'm turning you over to Pat.
We may run out of time before this article is completed, but I want to let you know that this is an article from 417 in the lifestyle section inside the Story House bookstore. Siblings Mike Bruner and Penny Scroggs are reopening the former Pagination bookshop space with the help of friend Arthur Marks. Together they are creating the Story House bookstore, a new shop shaped by community, art, and local stories. Last year, Mike Bruner received a call from his longtime friend Arthur Marks. Though Bruner wasn't living in Ozarks at the time, the two caught up easily, talking about retirement, family, and life over the years. Before they hung up, Mark extended an invitation that would shift the course of their conversation to see his grandmother's house, once home to the late local artist Pinky Marks, as he prepared to clear it out. Bruner visited out of curiosity and walked into a time capsule. It was full of treasures, Bruner said, hundreds and hundreds of pieces of art, original oil paintings, original watercolors, photographs, three-dimensional art objects of art. Bruner invited his interior designer, sister, Penny Scroggs, over to have a look, and she was floored. The work was then moved to a secure location and cataloged. A few months later, the house was home to Pagination Bookshop on Walnut Street, was up for sale, and the pieces were simply falling into place for Bruner, Marks, and Scroggs. The three were itching for something new to do with Ozarks' verbal and visual arts worlds and to find a home for Pinky's art collection. Bruner and Marks bought the historic home, and Bruner, Marks, and Scroggs became partners in what is now the Story House Bookstore at 1105 East Walnut Street, Springfield, Missouri, 65806. Marks serves as a chief financial officer. Scroggs, the creative director, oversees events and staff, while Bruner, as chief executive officer and director of strategic development, works behind the scenes to preserve the building's character and guide the store's appeal to the public. Bruner is originally from Ozark, but moved away 45 years ago to become a verbal art professor. He lived all over the place, California, Seattle, Boston, Las Vegas, with his late wife, Meryl. She died early last year, and to honor her, they are hosting the grand opening of the store on March 14th, her birthday. This looks like it's going to be quite a lovely shop. One of their first decisions was to integrate pieces of Pinky Marks' artwork into the shop. When you step inside the cozy bookshop, you'll find her paintings all over the wall. Some of her original artwork and others are pieces she collected from artists all over the years. She pictures the Story House bookstore a year from now. Scroggs sees the expansion with a wide range of monthly events, more seating and more people. She sees them slowing down, peacefully reading a book outside and sipping coffee, or connecting with someone. I picture people and conversations. Bruner imagines a big happy party. I want this nest to get feathered a lot, he says.
Well, thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed day. Have an understanding, wonderful day, folks.